I'm on my way to investigate an incredible story. There's a local woman who says she was abducted, but this is not your typical abduction. She actually claims that she was impregnated by aliens.
To create alien-human hybrids.
While thousands of abductions are reported each year, a small percentage claim it's for something known as hybridization. Hybridization involves experiments with reproductive organs, leading many victims to believe they're being used to crossbreed with alien life forms. But why would aliens be interested in crossbreeding with humans?
I have a very open mind about this sort of thing, but this is actually the first time that I've sat down and talked to an alleged victim about their experiences. Today, I'll be meeting with Geraldine Orozco, who claims she's been abducted 8 times and was part of a top-secret alien hybrid breeding program. Hi, Geraldine.
Yes.
Ben, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Ben. Come on in.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Why don't we start out, just kind of describe to me how this all started.
Sure. So the most interesting event was actually years ago, where I became pregnant and I got a pregnancy test positive.
Were you, I know this is kind of personal, but were you and your partner trying to have children?
No, we weren't trying to have children.
You were thinking it could possibly be a child
Yeah.
from your partner.
Exactly. Next thing you know, I have a miscarriage and there's no fetus, there's nothing.
Geraldine had been pregnant for 8 weeks when she miscarried. A fetus should have been visibly present. But even though her doctor confirmed Geraldine was exhibiting the signs of a miscarriage, there was no sign of the fetus.
Every time I would become pregnant, I would have a miscarriage, or a miscarriage where there wouldn't be the fetus. The fetus would be missing.
Okay, that's pretty incredible. So you're saying, like, you felt like you're pregnant,
Yeah.
so you go to the doctor and you have a pregnancy test and it comes back positive.
Yeah. So when I would see the doctor, and I saw different doctors over the years, they wouldn't know how to explain what had happened to me. And of course, neither did I. So then I said, okay, maybe I can't have children. After that happened, like 5 years went by. In 2013, I had a conscious experience in my bedroom.
Even though it was 7 years ago, Geraldine can still recall every detail.
I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I wake up because there's a bright light in my room. And as I look down at my phone, it says 3:30 in the morning. And part of me was a little bit afraid at that moment because it was thinking, oh, is there someone outside my window? So I look outside my window, and the light is so bright that it's burning my eyes. And next thing I know, my entire body paralyzes. And I feel my body being taken through the window. I was brought to a craft. I was paralyzed. This being comes next to me, and I'm terrified at this point, but I can't even scream.
So what did the aliens look like?
They're very tall. They are these grays. They have these giant eyes.
The Greys, also known as the Zeta Reticulans, are said to be tall, slender creatures with large eyes and gray skin.
Would you say it was the scariest thing that's ever happened to you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But there's more. Geraldine claims that aliens actually presented her to her alien human children.
This being is showing me these children. And as I'm looking at these children and I see what they look like, they're not all the way human. This gray, thin skin, it's a much bigger head. And these giant eyes that are so deep and so profound and so complex. It was just incredible. But what I recognized as I'm meeting the child is that it's my child. It looks like me. It has something that is a part of me.
At this moment, Geraldine realized why she could never get pregnant. She believed she wasn't having miscarriages. Her unborn children were being stolen from her womb and mutated with alien DNA.
As I'm seeing the child in front of me, I know that it's mine.
Okay.
And I'm wanting to take care of them. And before I start to feel that, they immediately remove everything away from me. And then I'm, opening my eyes and I'm upside down on the end of my bed.
Wow. Okay. And were you dressed the same way you went to sleep, everything?
I was. The time frame here is 3:33 in the morning to 6:15 a.m.
Finally, Geraldine was piecing together what had been happening to her. She was the victim of experiments in which her human fetuses were being harvested by alien abductors and altered into hybrid life forms. And this had been happening to her for years.
Feels like I got hit by a truck. My entire body is sore, and it's like so hard to move around, and I'm barely sitting up.
Again, Geraldine visited her doctor, who could offer no answers. Finally, she decided to take matters into her own hands.
And so in 2016, I decided to part ways with my partner, and I decided it was time for me to be public about this.
Geraldine began a website looking for other women who had had the same experience. Hundreds of women emailed her saying the same thing had happened to them. The website serves as a support group where women from all around the world share similar horrifying stories of having their fetuses stolen by a hybridization program.
No, I have mothers that are writing to me, telling me that their children are being taken. I mean, women are experiencing PTSD as a result of some of these experiences. Real trauma.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So the times that you've been to the doctor, do you have any medical records that you could share with me?
I do have these ultrasounds, so you can take a look at that and see.
Geraldine was concerned with what had been happening to her, so she visited a doctor for an ultrasound. Together, they discovered physical evidence that strongly suggested her story was true.
I developed a cyst. The doctor said that the size of the cyst and the way that it developed was like somebody that had children already.
Really?
We didn't understand what to compare it to until I had the abduction. So I went back and I looked this up and I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what had happened to me.
Wow. And so they never found any explanation?
No.
Wow. I really like the focus you're placing on the medical. We can document what's going on medically so that, the medical community says, we don't have an explanation, so let's start looking at the alternatives and let's start taking it seriously, because if people truly are being impregnated when there's no possible way that that could happen in an explanation, the medical field needs to know this. We need to know this.
Exactly, and there has to be support because there's something along with that. It's a psychological side effect.
Well, Geraldine, you've given me so much information to process, and I really like that you are detailed. I really like that you have tried to document this the best you can. So thank you for your time, Geraldine.
Thank you.